Abcodo team is back with another exciting webinar, this time with the EU Business School. Thank you all for your continued support and participating in all of institution-specific webinars. My name is Lavanya Nair and I'm the Operations Manager for Abcodo. I'm using this external camcorder, so I'll watch my screen and talk. Sorry for that, please. We know that you are all very eager to grow your business by finding out the latest information in the international education sector and recruiting students for the upcoming semesters. So before I begin, I just want to remind the participants of a few things. The QA room is open, but you can submit your questions through the QA button you will see on the screen. Your questions will be answered by the presenters. I would request you to wait for the answers because you might find the answers for the questions from the presentation itself. So you may wait for that. On top of that, there is a link in your chat box that you can use to complete your information, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Well, we have two lovely presenters from EU Business School today. Mr. Nick Coles, who is the Head of Sales and Recruitment at the EU Business School. He lives in Geneva, Switzerland, and he has traveled to India several times, and he has been interacting with Indian students since 2011. Welcome to the webinar, Nick. And,
thank you very much.
And this beautiful lady is Ms. Shanice Francis, Regional Recruitment Manager and alumni of EU Business School. She's from Mumbai. She has been working with EU for 5 years, and she will be happy to assist students through their application process and other student services. Welcome, Shanice.
Thanks, Lavanya. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Now, let me introduce MSM Unify to you. As you all know, MSM Unify is an international education market. In fact, the largest of its kind that empowers educational institutions, agents, and students. Our objective is to unify those involved in student recruitment and enable each of you here and your partner higher education institutions to collaborate online to diversify your students and reach out to the curious learners around the world. Our objectives for the partner agents like you are to facilitate, accelerate, and rationalize student recruitment. It is a sustainable and cost-effective approach for institutions that wish to commercialize, recruit, and admit students in such a challenging and competitive environment. For agents, this is an excellent opportunity to expand your institutional partnerships and offer thousands of different programs and services to your students. I'm happy to share that this extensive AI-powered platform also assists the international students journey through thousands of programs and courses, study guides, a discussion forum, and other extensive tools and resources for international students. We are glad to offer them for free to your students to help them realize their dreams of studying abroad, and Abcodo could make that dream come. Abcodo is MSM Unify's dedicated recruitment network that offers certified agents, complete applications, and global reach to our partner institutions. Thanks to Abcodo, we are working to solve common problems facing higher education institutions at different stages of the international recruitment funnel. With well-vetted Abcodo agents, institutions have access to a variety of student pools around the world. I'll give you an overview of Abcodo. We are active in 72 source countries. At present, we work with institutions in 26 destinations with coverage across 6 continents. And we have around 500 institution partners and a fantastic technical platform with more than 40,000. MSM Unify and Abcodo are the product offerings from M Square Media, a world-class platform supporting international education, providing business development and marketing services to institutions of various sizes. We have a presence in at least 26 countries and can literally give you a world of recruitment opportunities. So if you wish to know more about how you can work with us, please complete the form that has been sent to your chat box, and a representative from Abcodo will contact you very shortly. Well, I will not interrupt you again because the EU Business School team is eager to meet with you and is ready to make an incredible presentation. Over to the team.
Thanks, Lavanya. Nice to meet all of you. I presume you're all in different parts and corners of India. So greetings from us in Europe. And from Shanice and myself, we're delighted to collaborate with Abcodo and obviously the sub-agent network. So we'll get stuck in with a presentation. Obviously, we understand that many of the technical details can be worked out at a later stage. So we'd like to give you some broad brushstrokes about EU Business School and equip you to promote us accurately and really feel equipped to get this application process going for your students. So my colleague Shanice will get going with the presentation. She'll share her screen, and then we'll start presenting.
Perfect. So while we're at that, Nick, we want to sort of go through a video to explain to people what EU Business School is all about. I'm not too sure if you can hear the video.
We can't hear it, but you can watch it, and I think that's the main thing. You'll be able to see some slides. Basically, in 60 seconds, we'd like to. Oh, we've lost the video a second, but
sorry,
we've got this video, which is a 60-second presentation of the business school. And if it doesn't work here, that's not a problem. We can share the link in the chat. But let's give it one more try. And seeing we don't have sound, I will just walk you through it as it goes. So basically, since 1973, EU Business School has been operating. We started off really as a business school called European University, but in the last few years, focused down on what our main focus is, which is business programs. We've got these 5 campuses, which you see on your screen. Over 100 different nationalities, students coming from all over the show. English is the language of instruction. We've got foundation all the way to DBA programs. Those are the different majors that you see. The focus is entrepreneurship. And obviously within class sizes, it's very hands-on. You can do a lot of presentations, a lot of critical thinking and teamwork. Those are the things that we really focus on. Other than that, we've got a series of what we call Beyond the Classroom. It's learning from leaders. Top guests, as you can see here, from Siemens and Nestle and other top CEOs get to speak to our students. So it's really about personalized education tailored to the modern generation, young guys and girls that are looking to really connect into an international network and be exposed to top-notch leaders, whether they're currently working or former students that come back into the classroom. So I think that gives you in a few visual shots a feel of what EU Business School is all about, but we'll get stuck in with the presentation and give you a few more details. So yeah, over to you, Shanice.
Thanks, Nick. So basically what we want to go through is really the programs and to get a better understanding of what we're all about. We've got a lot of academic partners, and I'm happy and proud to say that EU Business School is not the kind of institution that, has stuck with a specific number of programs over the years. We've continuously evolved based on the market. And that's why we have a lot of academic partners to bring in that extra expertise. So we've been partnered with a lot of universities over the years. UCAM is one of them. It's a Spanish university that we have our bachelor and postgraduate programs with. University of Derby is also another one. Dublin Business School is what really brings the techno-management courses in, and that's why we've partnered with them. That's DBS, Dublin Business School. And recently we partnered up with London Metropolitan University for our add-on qualifications and dual degree programs. So to give you a bit more insight into how we operate, we have the bachelor's, as Nick mentioned, we have foundations to DBA programs. So we have the bachelor programs, starting off with the ones on the extreme right, which is a dual degree qualification of EU Business School and the University of UCAM. It's a 3-year program with 6 semesters. And what's really good about this is during the first year, students actually go through co-management courses. And it's only in the second year that they actually get stuck into their specializations, as you call it. So it could either be sports management, which is a niche program, business finance, leisure and tourism management as well. And then in the center, you have dual degree qualifications with the University of Derby. These are more research-oriented programs. So for any student that's looking at practical learning, we would either recommend the EU Bachelor program or the BA Honours with Dublin Business School. So to the far right, you have the techno-management courses like project management, cloud computing, and information systems. Again, this is a 3-year program with 6 semesters, and we have the few techno-management courses specifically in Munich because we see that the market requires it. There's a demand in the market for students who have completed courses like cloud computing, information systems, and we have a few add-on certifications as well, coupled with these bachelor programs that can really enhance a student's CV at the end of the day. On the extreme left down corner, you'll see the Executive Bachelor's in Business Administration program. We particularly offer this program at the Barcelona campus, and the student's profile that we're looking at with the EBBA, as we call it, is slightly different. So you'll see that in India, there are a few students who start working after their 12th grade directly. And that's the kind of students that we're looking at who have not completed their bachelor program for, financial reasons, family issues. So if a student has 5 years of work experience, above 25 years of age, they normally go in for the Executive Bachelor's in Business Administration program, which is like a 1-year bridging program before they start off their MBA or their master's program. But yeah, that's all for the bachelors. Nick, would you like to, give us a little details about the postgraduate programs?
Sure. So we are we're quite excited about the fact that we recently filled a gap, so to speak, in our product portfolio, because we've always offered what you see in the middle, the MBA programs with 11 majors. This is something we've offered for 20 plus years. And then the majors on the right are new. So these ones in cloud computing and project management, information systems and project management. And then those on the left are already an exciting addition to the portfolio, because we've been offering these master's programs, which are substantially less expensive for students. You're looking at 13,800 euros instead of 20 odd for the MBA. The difference between these masters is typically the profile of the student going for the masters would be younger. The specialization is from day 1 till the end. So you're looking at a 3-term program, 1 year for all 3 of these options. So whether it be the master's MBA or the DBS MBA on the right. As I said, I think you're looking at for MBA, you're looking at 2 terms where it will be core courses, what the focus will be on, and then 5 courses related to a specific major. So let's say a student chooses a master's in digital business. They will run, that master's will be the focus from day 1 till the end, digital business. Whereas if they do, let's say, an MBA in international business, the first 2 terms will look at, core business sciences, and then in your 3rd term, it will be related to specifically to international business related matters. So I think we've really got a match for any profile now. We've got the foundation programs, which we didn't actually mention, but the foundations can run as a bridge for the MBA. You've got the EBBA, which runs as a bridge to the MBA as well. Then you've got the bachelor programs and the MBA. So I think we cover all the bases there. Obviously, we could go into a lot more detail, but that's not the aim now. Just know that it's a 1-year program, because that's always the question. How long is it? Is it 1 year? Is it 1.5 years? It's 1 year. 3 terms, about 3 hours of class per week. So 15 hours of class 3 hours of class per day, 15 hours of class per week, 10 weeks per term. And that's in a few words, that's what you can expect for the MBA.
Thanks, Nick. So over to the intakes, a lot of students are like, when can we apply? What's the deadline? So we have a lot of intakes between our bachelor and our postgraduate programs. We have for the masters, we have our upcoming intake, which is starting next Monday. That's the 27th of September. The 3 intakes for next year is the January, March, and October 2022 intakes. For bachelors, we have 4 intakes. We have starting next year is January, May, July, and then we have the October 2022 intake. So these are a few start dates that are mentioned over here. What's really interesting is, as I mentioned when I was talking about the bachelor programs, we have a few added on certification programs, and AWS is one of them. the Amazon Web Services Summer Course. It's been a hot seller this summer, from what I can tell, at our Munich campus. So it is basically offered on campus in Munich, and for the other 3 campuses, it's going to be online. We also had a guest speaker come in from AWS and talk to our students, which is really interesting. And we see a demand in the market for a lot of cloud foundation, people that are sort of aware and know about it. And that's why the certification is so important, specifically at our German campus in Munich. So we have the AWS Cloud Foundations and we have the AWS Cloud Architecture, which together gives students the certification of AWS. The cost is obviously, standardized for our students and is at a lower cost than the market value, which is 540 euros for both the courses. And, again, the students can do either the certification or can do individual courses as well. But it runs for a period of 8 weeks. Nick, is there anything that you would like to add on about AWS? You're on mute. Yeah.
Many of you may not be aware of Munich as a city in Germany. It's, many, from my experience, many Indian agents are familiar with Berlin. Munich is where we have our campus, which is most popular with the Asian subcontinent. Certainly with India, we've had many students over the years choose the Munich campus. Many of them are now working and connected with Shanice and myself. What is really attractive about Munich is, the job opportunities. The unemployment rate's really low. You're looking at 3% unemployment in the city. You're looking at a city which has a lot of investment in the tech scene. We have, all the top tech companies are now based there. So you've got Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and what else did I miss? Apple. Apple's got a huge chip manufacturing plant, which they recently invested 1 billion into. So the city of Munich has really become known as a Silicon Valley of Europe, or certainly in Germany. So people are looking to come and start their careers there. This is a nice slide which just shows some of the companies there. The Silicon Valley, like I mentioned, you've got insurance companies like Alliance, and you've got Re Munich, which is a massive reinsurance company based there. So they're looking for people with actuarial backgrounds, people that are good with numbers and stats. So many of our students from India come with engineering backgrounds as well, and that is a good combination, basically, with the programs we offer. If a student comes in as an electrical or IT engineer as a graduate, and they join our management programs, it's really a great combination for the market as things stand. The reason why I mentioned all this stuff was really because Amazon, we've sought to offer a certificate which could be useful for the students. They're able to put it on their CVs. They're able to, really for Amazon, what they're looking at is a talent screening program. So they're able to look and see which students at EU have taken the cloud architecting or cloud foundations program. So this is something we run in the summer, and certainly a nice addition for any master's or MBA student. So someone put in here, Pooja, your question, kindly explain the study hours for bachelor's and master's again. So bachelor's, you're looking at about 24 hours of class per week, whereas the master's, it's only 3 hours a day, 15 hours per week. From India, getting bachelor students appointments is almost impossible right now, but we can sell the master courses. Exactly, Pooja. I would veer away from the bachelor's at the moment. We made a strategic decision about 6 months ago with the team to really promote the masters, and we've seen great results for the masters, whereas the bachelor's, the visa appointments are still not, it's still unclear when they'll become available. I've been in touch with the embassy in Delhi, and they are kind of predicting that February, perhaps even the May-June intake is when bachelor students can realistically expect to get their visas and travel to Europe. So the focus really should be on masters and MBA all the way through, because today Shanice and myself got 3 confirmations of MBA bachelor student, MBA and master students that got their visas approved. So yeah.
Just to add on, I know we're promoting the Munich campus very widely. We do have other campuses, being Barcelona in Spain and Geneva and Montreux in Switzerland. The only reason we're not promoting it with bachelor students right now, especially the Barcelona campus, is we've seen a few visa rejections for Barcelona. Having said that, I'm proud to say that in the last 3 months, we've had a lot of acceptances again for master's MBA students. So when it comes to bachelor's, the best thing to do is to, stay on track probably for the Swiss campuses, and Germany from February onwards. We do have at least about 7 students, Nick, if I'm not mistaken, for the Munich campus bachelors. And we have seen students getting appointments specifically from the South Indian region. But having said that, these students have really waited at least 6 to 8 months to get their visa appointments. But it's a slow going process, but it's still there. So we're not going to stop promoting bachelors, but it is a hassle to get visa appointments, as Pooja rightly pointed out. In terms of the scholarships, we have some exciting opportunities that have come about. We have 3 different sort of scholarships at this point in time. One is the merit-based scholarship, which runs up to 30% on the semester tuition fee for all the 3 years in case of a bachelor's, or a 1-year program in case of the MBA or master's. The students' academic levels need to be really good, 80% in 12th grade for bachelor's and 70% in their bachelor's if they're applying for the master programs. We look at the IELTS scores, the TOEFL scores, or the Duolingo scores. We also have our own internal English test, which is free of cost for all our students. So if they score 80 and above in their internal English test, then we can probably look at a merit-based scholarship. Every region has a specified number of merit-based scholarships. So for the Indian subcontinent and the other countries that we represent, being Nepal, Pakistan,
Shanice, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So is this country specific? Are the scholarships country specific, or is it for all the students?
So we did have country specific scholarships until this October, but now for 2022, we don't have any country specific scholarships, but we do have a limited number. Having said that, when it comes to the merit-based scholarship, as I was just about to say, we have about 7 scholarships for the entire, Asian Pacific region. If you look at India and the neighboring countries, Nepal, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, we have about 7 scholarships. So we ideally focus it on any program for that matter, be it bachelor or master program. But of course, it depends upon the student profile. Then we have the early bird discount. Unfortunately, we have only about 8 to 10 days available for this scholarship to actually, the deadline to actually hit for all our intakes next year. And it can be applied on any program for all the intakes of 2022. And it can range between 7 to 10% depending upon the student's profile again and the intakes that they're applying for. So this is what, if you can, we have about, again, 9 to 10 days. As long as we get the application in by the 30th of September, we're good to go. And then the students get a 2-week deadline to make their initial payment, which is what we call the advanced tuition fee. So at a bachelor's level, you have 2,200 as the advanced tuition fee. And at a master's level, you have 3,200 as the advanced tuition fee. Okay. So ideally, any student that's applying for 2022 should submit the application by the 30th of September.
There is a question from, I think this agent is from Afghanistan. Please illustrate how Afghan students from Afghanistan can apply and get visa.
It's a difficult question at this stage, yeah? Abdul, obviously we're all following the news of what's going on. My honest answer would be, I don't know. Obviously, a good applicant is a good applicant. If you've got a file which meets all the requirements, it can be submitted to Abcodo. But obviously, we cannot give any guarantees in terms of how the visa process will go.
Yeah, thanks for answering that.
Probably we should try to research more on that, Abdul. We'll get back to you on that. Thank you for your question.
Yeah. And then we have another very interesting scholarship which we've introduced for 2022, which is really the ambassador scholarships. We're looking at students that are very well versatile with their, sort of their friendliness towards students, because when students arrive on campus, we need somebody that can make them feel comfortable. So what we call a peer advisor to a large extent. So we're looking at those, collaborating with all our promotional activities as well. Somebody that students can talk to, especially when they're pre-enrolled, sort of understand what's really happening on ground in Munich. That's really what the Ambassador Scholarship is all about, and it can be up to 2,000 euros per year. Again, we can have one at a bachelor level and one at a master level, but we have two per a salesperson. So that would be two for me, and then two for my colleague Gopi as well. He's located down south in India. So depending on the student's profile, we can offer them any one of the three scholarships that are available. Nick, anything that you would like to add, maybe about the Ambassador Scholarship or any of the other ones?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I've got a phone ringing here. Basically, for us, the scholarships is something which we haven't done extensively in the past. We really saw the need at the beginning of last year. Obviously, we had EU Cares, which was an initiative to help students start and to get the students going. But to offer these three categories of scholarships is relatively new for us. So, I would say really make the main point, if you remember, is if you've got an applicant who's interested for 2022, ask them to submit the application before the end of September. They will get 7 or 10%, depending on the intake. If it's for Jan, it's 7%. If it's for Feb onwards, it's 10%. So it would be a pity to miss out, So see if you can drop an application in, even if the file isn't completed. Let's get the application in and get going, so they benefit from the early bird for next year. Thanks, Shanice.
Agreed. Yeah. And I think what's really interesting, especially when it comes to the master program, if you have somebody for the master program for 2022, the cost is already low. It's 13,800. And then you add on a 7 to 10% discount. It brings it to approximately 12,500 euros, which is a real steal for students. So as Nick mentioned, and I'm re-emphasizing on it, is that, get an application in by the 30th of September, because it's important for students to get the early bird discount. We're going to just move on very quickly to the career aspect, and I think Nick can speak more widely about it, but we've got an excellent, Nick's spoken about it in the past, but we've got an excellent career service team based out of Munich. We have Sarah Rapsch, who's our new career service person, and she has very sweetly offered, a lot of incentives for students to sort of join, sort of get a consult with her earlier while they are in India or any of the neighboring countries, to start and to understand what it's like to start your career in Munich. And I think Nick can give you more details about that.
Yeah, we touched on Munich being an interesting city. It's certainly a city which is growing. It's expanding quickly. And as you see in the previous slide, I mean, just about 8 out of the top 30 largest corporations of the German stock exchange, the stock index, the DAX, are listed and based in Germany, in Munich itself. So also for small and medium enterprises, what you notice if you study the Munich economy is that the service sector takes up about 25 to 30% of the full economy, the GDP. However, it goes to show even a city that has companies like BMW or SAP and all these other tech firms, there's still a very strong service sector, which is good for students that want to study human resource management, for example, people that are into leisure and tourism management. So it really, any student that is keen on, one of the majors that we're offering, there'll certainly be job opportunities in the city. Do you need to speak German to get a job in Munich? No, you can get part-time small jobs, as they call them there. But if you want to really, do well and go up in your career, then German becomes vital. So that's important to note. We can go on to the next slide. Famous for the Oktoberfest. You see that lady carrying, how many beers is that? 10 beers in 2 hands. So that's quite an achievement. People really come to the city from all over the world. In Europe, it's a very popular destination. And basically the Oktoberfest is held, the location of the Oktoberfest is right in front of our Munich campus. And there are times where it's easier for students to go get lunch, to get a schnitzel down at the this, they call it the Theresienhöhe, which is the ground where the Oktoberfest is held, than anywhere else. So it's a really festive city. It's a cultural city. If you see that top photo there on the left, you see that it's there was a law that was passed at some stage that no high-rise buildings could be higher than the church from where this photo is taken. So it remains a city which is very culturally enjoyable. It looks more like a village, but it's got this economic muscle, which is interesting for our students. So yeah, great place for work-life balance. Then in terms of just the salaries, if you Google it, you'll see that the average salary in Munich is 4,200, which is obviously very, very high. I think a mean salary is a better indicator, which is about 2,007 or 2,800. So that's what our graduates could look to. If you compare that to France or Spain or Italy or other countries, you're looking at 1,500, 1,800 euros per month. So it's a good 1,000 euros more that students could expect to earn in a city like Munich. Even if you compare it with cities like Berlin, the salaries are certainly higher. In terms of the internships, you can look, just step on that slide one more time. No problem. Normally 1,600 per month if you're working as a full-time intern. So it's very, very interesting on that side. And then the salaries are indicated on the right, on average 73,000 a year. So yeah, that gives you a good idea of how attractive it is. And then, just in terms of the economic hub, I mentioned that the lowest unemployment rates are found in Germany across Europe. It's very high on entrepreneurship as well, a lot of technology firms, a lot of innovation. It's certainly a fantastic country in Europe if you're looking for career opportunities. So we can go on to the next one. Maybe you want to take this one, Shani?
Yeah, definitely. And I think this is what I was really talking about with Sarah Rapsh, who is our career service person, is what she's introduced called the Turbo Career Boost. So while students have confirmed their seats and are still in India or any of the countries that we operate in and are in charge of, she's basically going to have a 20-minute one-on-one consult with the student before they even leave for Germany. Which is really interesting because she hits on points like, as Nick was saying, the language aspect. Do I need to learn German depending on the field that you're in, depending on the field that you're going into? She's really going to help you in terms of the career aspects, the kind of jobs that are available in Munich, the kind of people that you can meet. And, as we've been emphasizing and we will emphasize over the last few slides, is really the networking aspect from EU. It's really the DNA of EU Business School is really to network. And I, as an alumni, can stand by it and say that, yes, I have met some people who are just immaculate in terms of the connections into the industry, be it Switzerland, be it Germany, be it Spain. And a lot of our students who have really used these connections have been able to find jobs in, a matter of I would say 2 months post their graduation, or if they start looking earlier, as soon as they graduated, they are there with a full-time job, which is really interesting. So it really depends upon how students use the networking to their best benefit. But EU Business School offers about 52 company visits per year and 52 learning from leaders series wherein you get to meet these kind of people. And, it not only shapes you from a networking aspect, but even as a person, to interact with these people, to have your 15-second elevator pitch ready. We train you for all of that. And that's what really, not only helps you from a career aspect, but from a personal aspect, that's going to take you a long way. And that's what we're emphasizing on with, the Turbo Career Boost and our programs throughout 3 years in terms of bachelor's and 1 year over MBA. So, we have, sorry.
Maybe we can just, I'm just sorry to cut you, Shanice, but there are quite a few questions coming in. And I think what we've done is a presentation, honestly, that we use for a lot of our current agents. And what I think Shanice and myself are realizing is that a lot of you are new partners. So we don't have all the admission requirements on the slides, for example. What I can mention to the person who asked the question about the admission requirements is basically that we look at IELTS 6.5 for masters and IELTS 6 for bachelors. But please take note, we do have an internal English exam, so people can take an online test and we follow that up with an oral interview. Bachelor students, we typically look at 55-60% in Indian percentage in 12th as a minimum requirement, and then for the masters, it's also typically around 60% as a undergraduate average. Then there are other requirements. 2 letters of recommendation. There's a topical essay that needs to be submitted as well. Most of the requirements are standard, so it's not very different to other institutions, other than, I would say, this topical essay. So we'll certainly send that to Lavinia and her team, and she can pass it on to you.
Yes, thank you. Because I was about to tell them, I would share all the information after this. Soon after this, I will be sending an email to all the participants with a list of documents required for application, and the application process and everything would be shared with them very soon.
Definitely. And I think what's important to mention is 2 points when it comes to the postgraduate program. A lot of people ask, do you require work experience for the MBA? We don't. We don't require work experience for the MBA or the master program. And we don't require GMAT or GRE. Obviously, these are added benefits that the student can add on to their CV and to their profile when they apply. But from an admissions perspective, we really we don't require it at the moment.
And I found one question here from the previous agent from Afghanistan. In accordance with the last question, what if the applicant is able to travel to India with the applicant? Will the applicant be able to receive a scholarship and a visa?
Yeah. So thanks for that question, Lavanya, and thank you, Abdul, as well. The scholarship is not only for the Indian subcontinent. It is for our neighboring countries as well, Afghanistan included. So from a scholarship perspective, whether, the student is in Afghanistan or in India for that matter, it doesn't really make a difference to us from a scholarship aspect. From a visa aspect, again, it's a loophole that that students and counselors like yourself can follow. But as Nick rightly mentioned, we don't know as yet. So if a student actually gets to India and is able to apply for a German visa, well and good. But we don't have any more information at this point in time whether they can actually do that. But yeah, it's a good question. It's a loophole that I can see, but I don't know for sure if that's possible. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So the Get Hired in Germany is an interesting series. I know there are a lot more questions that are coming in, but I will answer them at a later stage. Just one last slide, which is the Get Hired in Germany series, which is being done mostly for our students that are sort of pre-enrolled, who have not yet paid their advanced tuition fee. But it's important for them to know, specifically in Munich, what the job scene is like. So we've had, people from Infineon, we've had people from Michael Page, AWS, NEWE, which is like, a small enterprise as well, come and talk about the German market, the job market, and give their insightful thoughts about it, which is really interesting. And now that we kick off with the fall semester, we're going to have more guest speakers coming in through the Get Hired in Germany series. So this is another series altogether, just not to confuse it with the Learning from Leaders series. That's another series altogether. But Get Hired in Germany is for anybody. And what we can do is, for Abcodo, we can have like a link, and we link the students directly to you, which is really great. So when we have our next session, just so that you're pre-informed about it, we will send you a link. And all the students that register through that link will be linked to Abcodo as, a counselor or has an education agent. Anything that you want to add here about the Get Hired in Germany series, Nick, which is, essential?
Nothing really, other than the fact that we all know as agents in India, that your students want job opportunities. And I think sometimes students try jump the gun. They think, okay, I get to Germany, I want a job in 2 weeks. What we've noticed is the students that succeed are the ones that tick all the boxes. So they attend these sessions, they study German seriously, their priority is their studies, and then those guys go on to get great careers in Germany. So this is something that we do. I think it's of value. We're really adding content to these people's lives, which is going to be beneficial for them. They will learn about which industries are open at the moment, which ones are recruiting. We learned during one session with a guy from Michael Page, for example, that the financial sector in Munich is low on employment. So they're looking for young graduates to be hired in the banks and, the insurance sector, such as Alliance. So definitely worth your students attending this session. Even for you, it's very informative. Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah. And I think that brings us, to the end, and we're just going to answer any questions in the Q&A section. Any questions that you want to ask, put them in. But I see a very interesting question about the post-study work visa, and what we call the job seekers visa is for 18 months. Post that, if a student gets a job, then they can live and work in Munich for as long as they have a job. And it takes about 6 years to get a residency permit, Nick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But it takes about 6 years to get a residency permit. So it's not sort of like a Australian scene wherein the company has to sponsor the student or sponsor the person in order to stay in Germany. As long as you have a full-time contract with the company, you can get a work visa and you can stay there as long as you work in that case.
Most of the questions here are related to the course details. Can we apply for masters along with the medium of instruction letter?
That's a bit of a tricky one. So honestly speaking, yes, you can, but it really depends from where the student is. As you know, we operate, India is different everywhere, right? And the English speaking level is very different. So a medium of instruction certificate would work, but based on the student's profile, based from where the student is from, we will judge accordingly, and then we can tell you whether just a medium of instruction certificate would work along with an admissions interview, or the student will have to attend our free EU internal English test online, coupled with the admissions interview. So it really depends upon the student's profile. But yes, to start off with, you can start with a MOI, as we call it.
Okay, so English requirement is not mandatory for visa.
So what we do is, if a student has a medium of instruction certificate, or the student has taken the internal English test, as we call it, along with the final acceptance documents, once they confirm, we give them a certificate stating that their English level is good enough to join our university, and that's fine with the German visa process.
Okay.
Yeah. Pooja asked a very interesting question, and I really like this. If the location is from Haryana or Punjab, will the medium of instruction letter work? And it's a no, unfortunately. So you can submit it to us. We will send you the link to the internal English test, and the students will have to do that. If they pass with 60% and above in terms of a bachelor's, or 70% and above in terms of a master's, we can consider them for admission. Otherwise, they'll have to go for the IELTS or the TOEFL.
Okay. And we have one more question here. Is it possible to change programs or specializations under certain circumstances?
So, as we mentioned through the programs, if you're looking at a bachelor level, within the first year, you can actually change your specialization. When it comes to a master's, no, because as Nick rightly mentioned, it's a specialization-based program. So if you have masters in finance, you'll be doing finance-related courses right from the first semester. So to change a specialization wouldn't be possible. But when it comes to an MBA, yes, you can, because the first 2 semesters are co-management courses, and in the last semesters where you really focus on your specialization. So with an MBA, you can again, depending on the program, but it's only the restriction. Ideally speaking, to answer this question in a 2-line answer, is basically that when it comes to the masters, you cannot change your specialization. Any other program, yes, you can.
Okay. And what is the minimum academic percentage requirement for masters?
Yeah, so when it comes to the masters, it's on an average, it's about 60 to 65% that we're looking at a bachelor level. If it's anything lower than that, yes, you can submit the application. Yes, we will go through it. Our admissions department will take a check on what we can do for the student. Either the student goes directly into the postgraduate, or if the academic scores are really low, then we go into a foundations program. Yeah.
Can the student travel with, I'm sorry, there's one more question. Can the student travel with spouse? It's a very tricky situation when it comes to the visa, right? So from what we have learned and understood over the years is that
yes, you can travel with your spouse, just not immediately. You can't apply for a spouse visa along with your student visa, right?
Okay.
Once the student is settled down in Germany, within the first 3 months, they could apply for a spouse visa. But in most cases, what we have seen is that, if it's a 1-year postgraduate program, the couple sort of, stays back in India, their spouse stays back in India, you're in Germany. And as soon as as soon as the one person gets that job in Germany, it's very easy to bring along a spouse. So correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, but this is the information that I know of and that the students that we've dealt with over the last few years.
And I think for 1 year of masters, if a student wants to take the spouse with them, probably they could go on tourist visa.
Tourist visa, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a 90-day visa, so that's 3 months itself. So if you apply for it 3 months into your studies, then you get 3 months and you come back to India, you're for about 2-3 weeks, and then again you can apply for a tourist visa. So it's pretty easy in that sense. And as soon as the student gets a job, it's very, very easy to bring along a spouse.
I think all the other questions have been answered.
Yeah. Next available intake for masters would be the Jan or the March intake of 2022. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing which perhaps wasn't clear for all the agents is the multiple locations we have. We're speaking primarily about Munich, where we've got 500-600 students. But it's true that Barcelona is our biggest campus. It's typically been popular with bachelor more than master students in India. But I would encourage your master students. Living expenses are probably 2/3 of Munich, so it's certainly cheaper. What we have noticed, though, is that some students, and you would know this as well, select Spain above Germany because they believe it will be cheaper. And that's where the visa becomes a problem. If a student wants to study in Spain, they need to have the same financial credentials as a student that wants to study in Munich. That means they need to have about 24,000 euros available for their studies in Spain. Otherwise, they will get a visa refusal. So that's very important to note. That said, I think the Barcelona campus has a lot to offer for Indian students as well. We've got some students that have gone to Barcelona and then done 3 months, switched to Munich and gone back to Spain afterwards. There is a 1-year stay back in Spain. Jobs are available. They can work part-time. So, I think Munich is a great option. Switzerland, we are recruiting primarily for Munich and Barcelona, but Switzerland is certainly a great option for your students as well. They need to have a bit more financial means, obviously, to be able to live and study in Switzerland. But the opportunities are better because you've got fewer people competing for the various internships and things like that. So it's much more tailored. The students get to know the faculty incredibly well. It almost becomes like family, So we've got a lot of students that speak very fondly about their time. Even Shanice did her degree in Switzerland and remains in touch with a lot of the faculty and her classmates and things. So Switzerland is a prestigious option, but certainly one worth the investment.
Okay.
Definitely.
And I just
add on to that.
Sorry, please carry on.
Yeah, just one thing that I need to add on, and as an alumni of EU Business School, and my brother's also studying at EU Business School, Geneva to be particular. But one thing that I really like to emphasize about Geneva and the Montreux campus is really the connections that you get to make. As Nick rightly mentioned, it's a prestigious campus, but the connections and the collaborations that you can make at that campus is really, really worth it, and it goes a long way from a networking aspect. So that's the add-on advantage that Switzerland has. I know when people think about Switzerland, like I did at the age of 18, is talk about hospitality and tourism, right? It's much more than that. When you get to the country, it's one of the, it's the ranking, it's the first ranking in Europe when it comes to startup firms, Switzerland. Financial district. You got Credit Suisse, you got UBS, you've got outlets of SocGen, Barclays, all these firms in Switzerland, which are really, really well reputed and ranked as well. And then you've got international organizations, which is, sort of the loophole for students to stay back. I've got a lot of people rather friends who have stayed back through contracts of consulting, specific international organizations, be it the WHO, be it the UN. So again, Switzerland is definitely the land of opportunities, and really one worth visiting. If you're doing it even for a semester, it's really, really worth it. And what's even better upon all of this is really the visa. So if you look at Spain, as Nick rightly said it, you need approximately about 20 to 24,000 euros in your bank account. Germany needs about 10,000 euros in a blocked account. Switzerland needs about 30,000, but your visa is much faster with Switzerland than it is with any of the other two countries. So it's hassle-free, it's fast. So if any student is really eager to go to Europe, entry point should be Switzerland because, again, the visa process is really fast.
So we have a few common questions here, which we get in all webinars. Any age limit for PG programs?
Fortunately not. And I think we have good news today because, we actually had a student that's 47 years plus that actually got a visa approval today from Germany.
Oh,
that said, I don't think it would be a problem for Switzerland either. For Spain, in my experience, we haven't tried, but Nick, if you've had any experiences, Nick's been working with EU for the last 10 years. So if he has any experience, but if you're looking primarily at Munich, definitely not. There's no age restriction. We had a student who was not a student, but someone else who applied, and he was about 59 years old, and he got a visa approval from the Delhi embassy. Today, it was 47 plus years old. He got it from the Mumbai embassy, German to be specific. Yeah.
That's great. And what are the minimum backlogs?
So
backlogs, go for it, Jenny. Yeah.
Sorry, I seem to be answering the question, but in terms of backlogs, as long as the student has completed backlogs and passed them, we're okay with it. We don't, again, we're a university that looks at developing students over their time at EU Business School. We're not somebody that says, oh, the student has 10 backlogs, let's just reject him. We're looking at really enabling the student to do give the student an opportunity for a better life. So there's no minimum backlog as long as the students have passed.
Oh, that's great. So this post-study work opportunity is given to the students after 1 year of masters as well, right? They are eligible to apply for even 1 year.
That's right. So the general rule from a visa perspective is basically the student needs to spend about 6 months in Germany in order to get the post-study work visa. So even if they start off in Spain or they start off in Switzerland for their first semester and then they come to Munich, they can still get their post-study work visa of 18 months.
Okay. Yeah. And how about the sports clubs and, any recreation clubs and the other facilities available there for both the bachelor's and the master's students in all the campuses?
Yeah, I think there are, Barcelona is well equipped with the sports life culture, basically being, it's a sports city at the end of the day. You have football, you have basketball, you have beach volleyball. So Barcelona currently has all these activities. Munich, we're looking more of master students who are really looking at their studies and finishing. But that being said, there are recreational activities happening continuously depending on the student body at that time. But what we seem to prioritize at all the campuses is really football and basketball. Switzerland, I remember we had a chess club as well, because there was this one professor that really liked chess and he taught all of us chess, and that's where I actually learned how to play chess. So again, depending upon the time and the students and what they are interested, if we have about 10 students that are interested in another sport, like say badminton, for example, or tennis, we make sure that we have a ground ready for them or a field ready for them, and we obviously pay the charges for rent and at a certain particular date and time. So, but most priority is given to basketball and football, I would say, because we've competed with other universities within our countries that we're located in.
Okay, thank you. I think that's really good. Giving more of entertainment and facilities.
Exactly. And then we have the International Day. We have the International Day where we have different students from different countries bring their cuisine to campus. And we have a tuck day or a food day at our university. Yeah. We have Valentine's Day celebrations and Christmas celebrations. So there's continuously something or the other happening. And the summertime is the most fun of it all because you don't need the university to plan anything because students just get together and have barbecues and, jump into the lake in Switzerland, for example. So there's something continuously happening all the time.
Any other questions? I don't think. I think we have answered almost all the questions. Everything's been covered already. So do you have anything else to say about, I mean, as a student, you were an alumni. I mean, you're an alumni of EU Business School. So I just have one question because I wanted to ask this yesterday. I mean, I sent you a message requesting the information. So why did you choose EU Business School?
Honestly, it was really when I chose EU Business School, it was also the country that really played a very important role. And for a lot of UG students, bachelor students, you know, when you're going out at the ripe age of 18, you don't want to feel lost, right? You want to be surrounded by people. You want to be comforted by people. And I think Switzerland is the perfect campus to do that. As Nick rightly said, it's almost like a family to you. And, you know, I was lucky enough to have that, you know, to go to Switzerland. First of all, is comfort, security, you know, just the place it is. It's a financial hub. I saw it for what, you know, more than what other Indian students look at it for. I didn't look at it from the tourism aspect or hospitality aspect. I looked at it from a finance aspect, international organization aspect. And again, the networking. It was amazing when I met Nick, you know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago when I met him in Mumbai, and he really emphasized on the connections, and it really came true because I met people like Adolf Augie. Unfortunately, he's no more, but I met them when they were there. They were at the UN, got to shake hands with him, got to talk to him about it. The president of Switzerland as well. So I really think that the connections that you make at EU Business School, Switzerland particularly, is you know, really worth it. And the best example is also my brother. He went to the States. He hated it. To be fair, he hated it. And within a semester, within 15 days, he left and came back to India. And I said, you know what, you're just going to be comfortable in Geneva. And when we sent him there, he was the happiest person within the first week. And, you know, my brother's a very introvert sort of a person, but he loved it. And I think that's what the main aspect of our EU Business School Switzerland campus is. And likewise, the other campuses as well. Munich is the second largest campus, and it's again a family. When students speak to me, they're like, what is your advice? And my advice is that, you know, you jump into your part-time jobs. Don't do that. Create a network for yourself, create a friend circle for yourself, because it's important. No matter how good or bad your day is, you're going to need that support at the end. And that's what's very important. And that's the comfort that EU Business School provides you with. So yeah, I mean, that would be my advice. Apart from, you know, the programs and, you know, the excellent faculty that you have, our professors, we used to have a 10-minute break between, you know, each hour. And the kind of insights that they provide you with, they are professional, they're professional people. So they're not only teaching you at EU Business School, but they also have, you know, they're consulting other firms or they own other firms, which is very important. So to give you that insight, and a lot of my friends have gotten jobs through their professors, not even through the career department, through the connections that they make with their professors, which is, again, an added advantage.
So
yeah, anything that you want to add?
I think you've covered everything. We have solved.
Yeah.
I think there are no more questions. And okay, Pooja is asking for a question on Duolingo. Do you accept Duolingo?
So we do. The limit would be 95 for bachelors and 110 for masters.
I think that's it. There are no more questions. We've covered everything.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for the lovely presentation. And Nick, do you have anything else to share with our agents?
No, we're just thankful for this new partnership with you. And we look forward to really getting going. I saw an application come in, which was exciting for us last week. And as we mentioned earlier, I think September end is really a good aim. So if you can try get as many applications in, we can provide support, you know, so we can connect with you and connect with any sub-agent and, you know, provide any training that's needed. So that would be our pleasure.
Yeah, sure. So today's learning will be something that inspire them, you know, decide to navigate the recruiting of foreign students with technical tools and resources.
Just
Thank
one
you,
question,
everyone. Yes,
Lavinia,
please.
where are all the attendees today, the participants? Are they all in
Today,
India?
the
Or?
participants are from India, Pakistan, and Afghanistan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So I think they've come to the end of the webinar. Thank you everyone for your valuable time in a webinar, and hopefully this webinar has given us a better understanding of the EU Business School as an institution of choice. So we will catch you up with yet another series of webinars very soon. Take care. Thank you, Nick and Shanice.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lavanya. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.